Hello and welcome to the Not a Guru podcast. I'm one of your podcast hosts, Tyler Smith, certified athletic trainer, certified strength and conditioning specialist. I'm also here alongside the prestigious Dr. Heidi Cook. We are here to help you with personal development, personal growth, and really building a foundation that lasts you your whole life. We're so excited you're here today, and let's jump in.
Howdy ho.
Good evening. How's the evening treating you this fine
It,
Thursday night?
it is okay.
It's okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Other
no,
than the
it's fine.
mouse not working, we got past that.
Yeah, some computer technical difficulties. I got Cal down late, so I made Tyler wait, and I hate doing that. So anyways, we're good. I slammed some chicken tacos for dinner,
Taco.
and
That actually doesn't sound too bad though.
it was
Yeah.
delicious.
Not that you
Uh,
tasted it, but it sounded delicious.
what'd you say? You cut out.
Oh, I said not that you got to taste it very much, but it
Yeah,
probably, you
I
know,
literally it just bypassed my tongue on the way to my stomach.
yes, just slammed it.
But anyways, uh so yeah, I am doing good. It's been I like every single day after Tuesday, I swear to God, felt like Friday. I'm like,
Really?
it's gotta be Friday by now. Nope. All right,
Nope.
it's gotta be like I don't know why this feels like the longest week in all of eternity, but it does.
I get that. That was my week last week where I was just like, is it over with yet? It's got to be over with. Like there's so much going on. You're so busy. You're like, it's got to be Saturday by now, doesn't it?
I am just like ready. I usually don't get in these mindsets, but I'm in one right now. Like I'm just ready for January to be over. Sam is traveling so effing much this month. I've been solo parenting a lot this month. I am tired. The weather is so shitty. So like I think we've gone out for maybe two walks this week, and even we got out for one today. And even today I was like, I'm a terrible mom, but it's happening because
Bundle up, kiddo.
yeah, literally. And I always feel guilty when I'm on the walk. And then when I get back in the garage and I take him out of the stroller and he's like so toasty warm, I'm like, okay, you're fine.
You're fine.
Like, I literally put him in like his little Sherpa snowsuit and a beanie and a hood and a blanket. And he just sits there like a little marshmallow
He's
throughout
got
the
one of those
whole.
kids like the new popular ski masks where you just see his eyes.
He would not tolerate that. But that's the thing I do feel guilty about is like his cheeks are so like dry and red because I've been dragging him out on these walks and like that's the only thing that's like exposed is his like cheeks and nose. And yeah, I feel like a horrible mom sometimes, but I'm like, what kid, you're gonna deal with some chapped cheeks for mom's mental health. Here we go.
Is it I want to say Switzerland. I could be wrong. Where they like regularly put babies and kids outside in very,
Yeah,
very cold weather.
for like naps and stuff.
Yeah, they're like, here, it's 6 degrees. Go nap out there. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I've seen that. I need to do some research into that. But yes, Cal gets
Yeah,
to
look
go
out,
outside.
Cal. Look out.
Yeah,
Just set him
he,
outside. There
yeah.
you go. You're fine.
I don't think I have that low level of arresting anxiety to let that happen. But um no, the thing that has oh my God, while we're in a gripe session, not to start this off with a gripe, but holy shit. People. I'm usually like not quick to judge, right? Like there could be a million reasons why somebody didn't shovel their sidewalk. But now that I'm a mom with a stroller and I'm hoofing my stroller, Cal's like bouncing along like as I'm like shoving him through the snow. All of my neighbors are staring at me like I'm a fucking crazy person.
I
And
mean, I'm
I'm
with you on that. I have very low tolerance for people not shoveling snow.
Well, and so then what irks me, right? And like, I'm not trying to say I'm all high and mighty, but Sam leaves for work super early. So it is typically because like a lot of times it's still snowing when he leaves. So it's like if he were to shovel before he leaves, like it would do nothing. And so it stops snowing and then it's on me to shovel the driveway and the sidewalks. And sometimes with Cal, and if like this week it was like 6 degrees. So I wasn't gonna like bundle him up and put him, outside. And I can't do it while he's napping because it's right outside his window and he would hear the
Yeah.
and so literally the other day I was like, okay, we need to go run an errand. I'm gonna bundle him up in the car seat. I'm gonna stick him in the car, and I'm right there in the driveway, and I'm gonna, as quick as I can, shovel the sidewalk and like a path up to our front door and a path next to my truck. And if the middle of the driveway doesn't get shoveled, I'll shovel it later. But like at least the sidewalk is clear.
Does it
And
work?
apparently nobody else in the neighborhood cares.
I like have this rule. So like in the morning, I usually won't, but by the time I'm like, if I come home and it needs to get done, it's getting done right away. Like
Yeah.
if it's been all day, I'm at work. Lindsay, like if she wants to do it, she can do it. If not, Quentin and I will tackle it when we get home. But yeah, usually by the evening, it's those like people that just like there's been days and no one's doing anything. I'm
Well,
like, come
that's the
on now,
thing. Like,
please, please.
Sam, when did it snow? Yeah, this week. Was it like Monday? Sunday, Monday? Yeah. Yeah, Sunday night, Monday morning. It's Thursday.
Yeah, you should definitely at least have shoveled once.
I've gone on 2 walks since it has snowed. And the same people still
Just
don't have
don't.
their I don't know why it just really, really irks
Well,
me.
and I'm also the weird, like Lindsay always tells me, like, just wait till it's done. But depending on how much it snows, I will shovel like 2 or 3 times. Because if
You're
it's
like my
like
dad.
3 or 4 inches, it's so heavy. I'm just like, nah. Like, I just
Yeah.
want to skim across, throw it in there, skim across the other way. Like, I will do it numerous times just because it gets so heavy. And I am an old man, but I was like, my back will start to get sore from like when it's heavy snow. So I'll just go tackle it 2 or 3 times. Just hammer it.
Yeah. I don't know why. It really got under my skin this week. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe they can't shovel their driveway. Maybe. And so I was like, you know what? Next week on my walk, I'm just taking a damn shovel with me. And so then instead of just traipsing through the same snowy spots over and over, I'm gonna shovel this patch of snow.
Here's the other thing that I thought of a lot, which I've never got to experience, but this is maybe I'm giving myself too much credit. I don't know. But if I had one of these big ass snow blowers, right?
Yeah.
Like like my father-in-law has like 7 snowblowers, but like
Oh,
he lives in a different neighborhood. But I was always like, if I had a snowblower, like a big one,
yeah.
and it snowed, I'd just start at one end and just do the whole sidewalk. It takes you zero time to do it. And these people that will just like do their little thing and put it away, I was like, we can't help each other out. You have a big snowblower. This is not that big of a deal.
There was a dude across the street from me who was just bebopping away with his little snowblower as he's watching me try and, juggle my kid and, shovel the snow, and he's just bebopping away. And I finally got done, put the shovel away. I, get Cal into the truck, we leave. This is so bad that it brought me joy. Oh my gosh. I'm a horrible person. I'm admitting it here. Anyways, he was backing it up and he tripped over a rock and fell on his butt into a mountain of snow. And I was like, hmm.
Do you know what my neighbor used to do with his that like when you want to say something, but you're just like, I'm not that person to do it.
Yeah.
He would go across his sidewalk and like all of them have that little aiming thing to throw the
Uh,
snow.
yeah.
He just throw the snow in the middle of the road. That's all he would do. Yeah.
Huh.
Like everything. Like I was always taught when you were doing it, you do not throw snow in like the middle of the, like in the road. You like put
Yeah.
it in your grass. No, I have neighbors that will still do that. They just walk over and fling it out in the middle of the road. And I was like, what are we doing here? Like it
It's
did.
counterproductive.
Do you want my dad to come teach you how to shovel snow? Because he would have killed me if I did that growing up.
That's really funny. Anyways, so that's my gripe. How are you doing this evening?
Good, good. I was thinking today, I don't quite know if like all the moons of Jupiter have aligned in their parallel whatever this week, but work has been crazy. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like my athletes decided to just run into a brick wall and there's problems all over the place. It's just so bizarre that like we were going in and doing some stuff and then all of a sudden smooth sailing and apparently the rough seas of indoor season are upon us because it is just I was laughing today. I was like, get ready, everyone. I was like sitting there and I just had person after person and my students are there. And I turned around and I was like, you can't be fucking serious right now. They're like, what? I was like, how do 12 people come in like 30 minutes? Like this, like, I don't understand what's happening.
Just the parade of
Just,
ailments.
just, I can't do this. I can't do this, which led me and my wife to an interesting dinner conversation about like we sounded like a grumpy old couple. We're like, kids today just can't fight through anything. And they're so soft and like this whole can't. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I could blame it on that or not. It's just, at least I have a really great staff that like doesn't panic or get upset. They just looked at me the same way, like, apparently we're just SOL now. This is what's happening.
Yeah,
Indoor season's over. We're just done. So
we're just done.
no,
Uh,
hopefully we'll get everyone turned around. It's not that, it's just like one of those rough patches where you're like, oh, I don't, like I said, I don't know if the Jupiter's moons are in a specific line that's hitting Boise right now or what, but it is
I I felt that way today too. Just some weird stuff. Cal's not sleeping great. Yeah, just weird. It's been weird.
weird.
And Sam and I looked at each other today and we were like, what is going on in the
I don't,
world
yeah.
right now?
I need some golfing in Florida like Sam, then everything will be much better.
Yeah. He goes to Palm Springs next week.
I need his job. Can he get me a job, please?
Sam's shaking his head. You don't want it.
You know what? That's the way it always is. Like, yeah, no. You see the
You
fun
see
things
all
of
the
my job?
good,
Yeah.
you see all the good, fun, flashy things about it, but like you never, with anybody's job, you never get to see like the bullshit on the inside.
Yeah, we did that when we went to the Fiesta Bowl. We got to go, and everyone's like, "You went with work, and that's so amazing." You're like, "Yep, that's one side of the coin. I don't think you've seen the other
One
side
small
of the
consolation
coin."
prize
Yeah,
for all of the bullshit.
for 21 years, that was it. So
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, he likes his job. It's it's a good job. He has fun.
yeah,
I like my job. I love my job. He's
it's all those things though. But you look at anything from the outside, and you're like, that would you forget all the nuances that I'm sure like bosses being
yeah.
bosses and all the
There's stuff anywhere you go, any job
yeah.
you have, right? There's always something. So you just gotta find something where the good outweighs the bad. But anyways, well, hopefully the planets unalign for you next
So
week.
hopefully they don't.
Anyways, well, I'm pumped for tonight's episode. I'm currently watching my child roll around in his crib, not asleep.
Does that?
Exhausted.
There he goes. He's just got to get the right spot, roll
I
around.
He
Does
does
he
this
sleep in the
sometimes.
baby burrito?
Baby burrito.
We had when Quentin was little. It's like one of those swaddles, and you just
Oh,
like wrap him up so he can't move and set him down. And we called it the baby burrito.
yeah. When he was littler, and then like once they start rolling, you have to take them out of that.
Nah,
Um,
just keep him in it.
so now he's in like a sleep sack.
Okay. Oh yeah, we had those. Although I do wonder if they make one big enough. I'd like to put Quentin in a baby burrito sometimes and be like, "Here, kid, just fall asleep." There he is. I remember the sleep sack. It's like literally just put them in there, like zip up the side so they can move, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
It's quite fun. But yes, he is currently rolling around, not fully committed to his sleep. Anyways, I'm excited for tonight's episode. Sorry, I'm hitting my mic. Bad podcast etiquette. Um, we had some question submissions and we haven't recorded a Q&A episode for this pod yet, so I'm excited to dive into questions and just kind of shoot off the hip. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. 2 of them are pretty light, so
Pretty late. Well, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, we're looking at episode 10 and we haven't done one. So like when we thought about it, I was like that this would be a good place to interject for those listening and, especially since we've kind of pivoted to a similar topic, but something that's a little bit different to see like where their feedback is from listening, what ideas that have been sparked through them or what questions they've had as we've gone through stuff.
Yeah. Um I'm I'm pretty pumped. So, somebody asked, question number 1. Somebody asked, how do you juggle all of the components of life? Work, life, spouse, kids, friends, self, etc. Um, and going through that, there were a couple of things that came to mind just in terms of like before we get into how do we personally as Heidi and as Tyler juggle all of these different components. I first want to say to this person, uh, I hope that I don't ever portray the fact that I'm just juggling it all effortlessly. Uh, because I think social media in general, like, you know, I put like a great example. I post pictures of Cal all the time,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
I always post cute pictures of Cal because he's the cutest boy of all time. Absolutely. Do I ever post when he's going
Maybe you should.
and clawing at my ankles because I'm trying to brush my hair and I'm not holding him? No. So like I think it's really easy to like everybody says like, don't compare yourself to the highlight reel or whatever. Even if I'm not doing it intentionally, like I'm not trying to like hide the fact that Cal is a baby that has needs and cries and fusses and, all of those things. But it's just like instinctually, I'm gonna post this really cute picture because I think he looks so cute. And I just don't think to record him when he's, if he's fussing, I'm gonna try and help him instead of stick a camera in his face. You know what I mean?
That'll be your
So
goal next week. The next time he fusses, be like, see?
see, so like that's just one tiny example of like how I think the internet sometimes tricks us into thinking that like everybody else has it all figured out and I'm the only one struggling or I'm the only one that doesn't have it figured out or whatever. And so I want to preface that with I certainly am trying my best to juggle all of the things, but I definitely fall short as well. And so you just don't, I don't proclaim, proclaim,
Right.
exclaim.
I
I
think it was
don't, I don't
proclaim.
announce
Yeah.
on social media all of the ways that I'm falling short. And maybe I should. Maybe I should do a Friday recap of all of the ways I fell short, but
Number one.
I try to not harp on all of those ways every week. We try and just move forward. So I wanted to preface that with I am falling short every day in juggling all of the things, and we just continue to move forward, and that's life. So if you're feeling like you're falling short and you're looking for some answer as to like, how do you do it all? It's like, well, some days I feel like I knock it out of the park. Other days I feel like not.
Not knocking it. It's a
Uh,
bunt. I struck out.
side note, was telling Sam I like didn't get some workouts in. I didn't sleep well. Like I was just being really hard on myself. I was just like, I feel like I I feel what did I say? I feel really like just like blobby, I think is what I said. Are you are you a Harry Potter person?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I was like, I'm feeling really blobby. And Sam started laughing. He was like, Blobby, you gave Blobby a sock. Blobby is free. I was dying. So anytime I feel like I'm shitting on myself, I always just say Blobby.
Lobby.
Anyways, so I don't even know where I was going. I got totally sidetracked. What? Yes. Struggling to find balance still. But anyways, all that to say, flawed. I feel like if you're looking for some big answer of like, this is how I'm juggling it all, you're probably just not seeing past the curtain of all of the ways I'm also falling short. That being said, there are definitely things that I do to try to juggle all of the things as effectively as I can on a daily basis. And so I wanted to kind of walk through that with myself and for you, like how you maybe like prioritize all of these different facets of your life and try and strike some sort of balance. So you start.
I think one thing that I would say, which is probably a tangent off of yours, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but more of like a realistic understanding of like when him, her, whoever went through that. This sound, you tell me how this sounds. The idea that you can balance all those in equilibrium is not realistic. And
100%.
yeah, and I think a lot of people are like, well, how do I still spend time with my friends and go to make sure I'm getting work and like, all those things. So the idea of like in every season of life, you're going to find balance on all those, I don't think is really realistic. Like we
Mhm.
say a lot, especially, you've been in athletics, like the idea of work-life balance, not really like a thing.
No.
But like for me, the way I've done stuff like with like work is a good example is I'm really busy from second week of August till probably the first or second week of June. Like that is, I'm in it pretty thick, pretty heavy. Like it's going, and my profession is 8 to 12 hour days, like probably minimum 5 to 6 days a week if you're not working seven. So the idea is like when summer comes, I'm taking a lot of vacation. I'm doing a lot of stuff with my family that I don't get to do um, in that time. So I know during certain seasons that the balance is going to be heavier toward work and the balance is going to be heavier toward I need to spend more time with them. I think on a daily basis, I try to make a little bit of time for myself. That's usually my workout time. But a lot of it for me has been the realization of when you're a father and a husband and you do all these different things. Um, I guess the best way to put it is like I understand I'm not the center of the universe,
Mhm.
and in order to really get the things I want to, I have to be able to say yes to situations when I don't feel like it, to do things that maybe when my energy levels are low, but just know that it's balancing everything together because like my work is so heavy. I put like when I come home, it's not I'm not that dude that just sits on the couch and like puts his feet up and like don't mess with dad. It's like, do we need to go shoot hoops? Do we need to go do homework? Like what do we have to do? And just know that while I can't spend a great like quantity of time with them, I try to make every time that I can count. And that's the same thing with my friends. We try to do, I mean, if you have kids, I don't, if you found a better way or someone can tell me how you have kids and still maintain time with your friends, good on you because kids are, you have practices, you have games, you have everything. And so if we can find one weekend or like
Here or
literally
there.
once or twice a year, like just to
Yeah.
hang out and have a beer, then great. But So there's that. The other thing that we do very consistently or try to once a month, once every other month is like it's important for us to have like a date night as a spouse. Like let's go, you're gonna go hang out at, grandma grandpa's. We're blessed to have them, in the valley. But I just that's a long-winded answer to say I don't have it all figured out, but I just know the idea of it being completely balanced is not the season of my life right now.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of like looking at things in seasons and being realistic about like what season you are in. And we just had a discussion about that with a client last night in terms of, she's about to have a baby, her second, and, uh, how can she utilize this season to like really fill her tank as much as she can before she enters a season where she's going to be giving so much out of her tank. And like I remember, right before I had Cal feeling kind of similarly, like really kind of just relishing in, you know, having mornings to myself or like being able to go and do certain things like whenever I wanted to go do certain things because like I knew that chapter was coming to an abrupt halt. And so like I think finding excuse me, like just a very realistic evaluation of what season you're in and what is your priority in this particular season. And then, okay, I have time for those things, right? Like these top priorities because this is the season that I'm in. Great. Now, outside of that, if I have a little bit of time for friends, for a hobby, for this, for that, like how can we work that in or like look at those as almost like the sprinkle. Like I think that so many times we think of balancing all of these facets of life as like an equal like pie chart, like each thing gets
Yeah.
like this very equal slice of the pie and we've got like X% of time is spent here and here and here and like that is what we're striving for, but just like that's not real life. And um, I think if you are feeling like your pie chart is very skewed or you're feeling really unhappy with where your time is being spent, then we can reevaluate, right, all of those slices of the pie and kind of control what you can control. Um, or evaluate, why we're feeling like our we're feeling unbalanced. Um, so I'm not saying just like if you're feeling like you're struggling balancing these different things to just be like, oh, well, it's, the season that I'm in isn't going to allow me to exercise or the season that I'm
Yeah.
in, whatever. Like, I think that goes back to the priorities discussion. And like, so for example, the season that I'm in right now, right? Like I don't have a ton of time to just like do things for myself. That's just the season that I'm in, and that's okay. But like exercise is still a non-negotiable for me, also because of the season that I'm in, right? Like I show up as a better mom. I show up with a, clearer head with, more just regulated a more regulated nervous system. I just feel better, right? If I'm getting exercise in. Now, are these hour-long workouts like I was doing, before when, you know, before Cal was born? No. I'm not doing, luxurious 60-minute studio yoga sessions or, anything like that. But like exercise is still a priority because of the season that I'm in, but I'm going to change what that looks like so that it can also fit the season that I'm in. So I think really looking at what is important to you and how do we need to shift and change our time and our energy and our effort that's being put towards these different priorities in order to feel like you are juggling the balls instead of just like kicking them down the road.
Well, and I think a good example of that, based on what you said, is exercise is a non-negotiable. It does a lot of great things for us. Maybe in this season where I'm used to doing an hour long, it's cut down to 30 minutes. And that's what I have right now. That's what I can fit in my schedule. Still makes me feel good. I'm still doing one of those things. It's just different. It's like the balance is shifted a little bit because Cal's got to wake up from a nap. This is really the only thing I got right now. But you're still like putting that in the pie chart. It's just gonna the size of it's gonna look a lot or a little bit different. And so those are the kind of adjustments I think that you have to look to make after you're absolutely right, making a priority list of like, I used to go out with the girls, every Friday night. Well, when you have kids, maybe that it turns into you don't need to get rid of it. Maybe it's once a month. Maybe it's whenever you guys can get together and that quality social, like it's an important thing to you. The frequency it happens, just like the balance that it happens, just changes a lot.
Yeah, totally. So hopefully that's helpful. I think, yeah, hopefully the takeaway there is just like reevaluating your priorities, also like holding true to your commitments too. I think that really helps me feel like I'm juggling things as best I can because on days that like I don't follow through on the commitments I've made to myself or my priorities, that's when I really feel like I'm not juggling things well. And so finding ways to establish kind of that that routine of follow through, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is what I do and I'm
Yeah.
gonna do it instead of it constantly being like a negotiation with yourself of if you're gonna follow through on it or not. I think that is a kind of a key foundational component to striking that balance instead of feeling like all of these things are just kind of falling by the wayside. I think at the core level, like that needs to be addressed. Because shit, like I could waste away all of my day and time, sitting on my phone and scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
So there is some level of like commitment to attempting to find the balance and just
Sure.
like knowing that even if you fall short, like that's okay. Shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars, and it's better than, not shooting for the moon at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This one's a little bit lighter. Uh Latest books you've read or podcasts you're listening to?
Um, what is the latest book? I'm on some weird books right now. The latest ones that I've actually like read is I just not too long ago finished the Harry Potter series. I've never read it before in my life. My wife was a big fan, so I did that, and
I'm
then
shocked.
yeah, it was. I don't know. It was good. The
Did you
last
read it with Quentin?
no, I
Or
just read
just
it on my own.
my
So
sister reread it with her kids, and it was like fun to like see them experience it, kind of like how we experienced it as kids. Anyways.
so those other ones that I've been doing are EMT reading books because I am gonna still try to finish that. That's not exciting at all. Um, and then podcasts that I'm listening to. I always listen to, well, I do still listen to a fitness podcast called Mind Pump. Although,
Mhm.
side note, they've been kind of going in a weird direction, and I'm like contemplating whether I can follow them through this direction.
Okay.
Um, they had one particular episode with a child psychologist that just hit me really wrong. Like
Okay.
I didn't like it. And so I'm waiting for a follow through. Like if this is the way they're heading with some of their thought process, it might be just time to like divert from that path. But the other ones, okay, this will be kind of fun. Just hanging out all my laundry on here. I am listening to my other one of my favorite ones is the John Delaney show. He's a mental health professional, and people call him and just like say like stuff I don't understand why you're asking advice from like a random human, but his insight and his way to, but so like he's a mental health professional, but he also did I don't know what it's called, but like he was the person that came in, let's say you went into a house, someone in your family committed suicide. He was the person that sat with those people when they got there.
Like a
So like
crisis.
crisis
Uh,
counselor, yeah, type
yeah.
thing. And his ability to like bring stuff down and just talk to people is like, I'm just listening because I'm trying to learn. I was like, you're like amazing at this. I
Mhm.
don't know how you do it, but um
That's
he's just
interesting.
he's a very personable, like you just feel like you go sit down and talk and have a beer with him for like hours because he can just talk. So I did that. And probably the other one, Simon Simic, a little bit of optimism. I've been dabbling in that one a little bit just to get some perspective on some leadership stuff for work. And someone who makes me laugh, but in this moment is I'm listening to the weekly show with Jon Stewart
Okay.
because he's a comedian, but
Yeah.
also like I don't understand a lot of politics, and listening to him like makes things make more sense in my head
Okay.
as just a perspective. Like I know a lot of people don't like politics, but like he makes me laugh. Like it kind of gives me a little bit more idea of the chaos that, like is been the last 8 to 12 years of life of that thing. And
Who's
so I just
who's it by again?
the weekly show by Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart.
He does the Daily Show, or used to, where he would, like make jokes and like stuff like that. It's like serious, but at the same time it brings some clarity and almost like an ease to me because I don't understand a lot of this, and like the whole
Mhm.
landscape just kind of makes me, I don't know. He's always made me laugh, so I started listening just to get perspective in life.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Podcasts. See, mine's not going to be very helpful or fun or different because I'm in a season where my podcasts just need to be light and funny the majority of the time because I really only listen when I'm on walks and like I just need light.
Right. Yeah.
Like
No, I get that. Yeah.
um so the I basically am listening to like two. I've been listening to This Past Weekend, which is Theo Vaughn's podcast.
I haven't heard
Uh
of that one.
you know who Theo Vaughn is?
Yes.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, so it's called This Past Weekend. And he's, a comedian and he just has people on and a lot of times it'll be other comedians. Those episodes are so funny. But like he also has like random people on sometimes too. Like here, let me just there were just like so many interesting episodes.
I get a lot of
What'd
flack
you
for my
say?
podcasts.
Yeah, he had a lunch lady on who had
Oh,
worked as a lunch lady for 40 years or something like that.
nice.
In a public school. He had like a Gen Z financial advisor on, um, which was interesting. He had like the yeah, he had a New York City garbage man. He had like the head guy from Teamsters, the union guy. He had him on. So just like he had the founder of Craigslist on, just like I don't know. He just like interviews random people and um it's he just has a unique perspective on life, I think, just because like he's been through a lot of shit. And so anyways, his podcast and then I listen to Rogan and I kind of cherry pick those episodes.
Yeah.
I'm not a
They're so
super
long. They're like
they're
three
so long.
hours.
Yeah, they are
Here's a
so long.
question. What speed do you listen to podcasts on?
I'm a one-time speed.
Oh,
I know. I know. I
I get made
find
fun of. I'm a 1.5. Like it's 1.5, and then I go back to one and it sounds so slow I can't do it. I just
so
can't.
so what's so funny is so when I go on walks, I either listen to a podcast or I listen to I've talked about this on the podcast before. I have a Marco Polo string with my mom and sister, like a group chat. And I literally call it the Leonard Ladies podcast. Because it's literally like I'll log in. I logged into it today. I haven't been on in like 2 days. So I logged into it today and I had 8 messages to listen to. And it's just like my sister talking about their weekend in Auburn and Portland for basketball tournaments and how these basketball tournaments went and all these different things. And, we pick each other's brain. My mom's picking out new furniture for her house. It's just like this ongoing, constant phone call that's just like random chit chat. And so, like, but that I will listen to on 1.5 times speed because
Because
gotta skim through some of the stuff. And I mean, I'm sure they put me on 2 times speed, but
two times a little. I haven't got there, but 1.5 for sure.
so those are basically the two podcasts that I'm listening to. I cherry pick Rogan and then I listen to Theo Vaughn. And then books. So that one I've also been pretty light on as well. I read one that I really enjoyed actually. I read it like right. I think I maybe started it when I was pregnant and then finished it when I was like freshly postpartum. Um, I can't remember or if I started it when I was postpartum. Either way, it's called Once in a Millennial. It's a very like relatable, like girl. It's very much like a book for gals.
Well, yeah, don't pick this up,
But it's
Tyler.
like very like relatable, like growing up in, you know, the 90s and early 2000s, and there's just like a lot of nostalgic like callback, but also just like you lived through this era, this is probably what you struggle with like as an adult today and different things like that. And but it's like how she navigated all of those things. I don't know, it was like really light and funny but also had like some serious notes to it as well. I just found it really interesting. And then I'm reading one right now that's called Remaining You While Raising Them. And jury's still out. I'm pretty new into it. I've probably read like 1 or 2 chapters. So stay tuned.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, another light one. What dinners or foods are in your heavy rotation right now? They're just looking for some meal inspo.
Um, so okay, side note for everyone in the world, I am the most boring eater like ever that has existed. My food choices don't change very frequently at all, but and I know you're all judging me right now. It creates some simplicity in my life because I know exactly what I'm doing Sunday. So I do not all the meal prep, but like most of the dinner prep at our house. Um, so, oh, we did make a switch. There's one switch that's happened in my house. We no longer have chicken breast in the rotation. We have
Wow.
switched to a chicken thigh family now.
I'd like to say, did I influence you?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Oh, let's go.
And actually, the other day I was laughing because Lindsay took a little while to get on the chicken thigh thing, and then I think the other day she made the comment. She's like, "I don't know if I could go back to chicken breasts because there's just like, I mean, we have a lot of different flavors and sauces, but they're just so bland and blah. And so at least chicken thighs have like some fat, tastes really good. We have those. We have vegetables. Usually sweet potatoes or regular potatoes for me. Like, but I have a really bad habit if I have a regular baked potato that I put a lot of cheese on it and salsa. Like those are my things. Um, and then, but I mean, just Saturdays we just kind of do whatever we feel like, whether it's you know, soups, usually when it's cold, like whatever we try to do. This last one we did my all-time favorite dinner in the world, breakfast for dinner. So we did pancakes and bacon and so I love it. It's like the great I don't know what it is, but
Sam and I call that BFD.
yeah, I think we've talked about this. Greatest thing ever. I love it.
Yeah,
Breakfast for dinner is like my favorite thing in the world. So
I love it.
I would do that
Once
all the time if you let me. I would just eat breakfast food all the time.
once dairy is back into the rotation for me, I'm gonna just absolutely destroy some waffles.
Exactly. Waffles, pancakes. Yes.
So good. Okay.
What about you?
Boring but effective.
Yep.
Hold on. I just typed this up for this person too. What did I say? We've been doing tacos or burrito bowls about once a week, some sort of meaty pasta. I used to do like baked ziti, so like I'd make like pasta with ground beef and then like the rouse, whatever, spaghetti
Whatever.
sauce, over the top, and then um I would transfer that into like a big glass like baking dish and put like mozzarella cheese and stuff in there and put it in the oven. Now that I'm not doing dairy, obviously I omit that step, which just makes it less good, but it's still
It just
good.
makes it less good.
Um, but so that is on or was on heavy rotation. Chicken and rice and roasted zucchini, like I just that's on heavy rotation, but I will say, oh my gosh, okay, no, this will actually be insightful. Uh, if you want to make the best chicken ever, and Sam is sitting right here, can you attest that it's the best chicken ever? When, when I put the little sauce on it. Yeah, the glaze. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I put this glaze on, it changes everything. So you either it's best on the grill. It was too cold to grill, so I've done it in the oven a couple of times and it's still really good, but best on the grill. You cook your chicken thighs until they're 70% done. And then you go out there and you just put a little bit of this glaze, and it's equal parts real maple syrup, not like pancake, like log cabin syrup, like real maple syrup and honey mustard.
Ooh,
And then
Lindsay
I
might be
put,
out on that. She doesn't do mustard.
but it's not super mustardy. Anyways, you gotta try it.
Okay.
I add some seasonings, little salt, pepper, usually like some chili powder. I think that's it. Maybe some garlic powder. Anyways, mix that up, and then you go and glaze all of your chicken thighs, and then you let them finish cooking with the glaze on. It makes the best chicken, especially if you're gonna put it like over rice with some roasted zucchini.
Mwah.
Oh, so good. So that's on heavy rotation. And then I'd say soups are on heavy rotation, either like a chicken and rice or like a chicken noodle now that I can do wheat again. That's been on heavy rotation. And then lots of roasts this fall, winter. I've done a lot of like chuck roasts, either in the crock pot or in the Dutch oven over rice or potatoes or
Yeah.
something like that.
I will say the caveat real quick as people still judge me. My wife works nights in a hospital, like graveyard, so we don't eat together
Yeah.
like four nights a week. That doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
it's usually me eating by myself because my son doesn't want to wait till I get home to eat. So that's usually why it's also super simple all the time because I get home late and there's just me. So like I just have leftovers all the time.
If all I had to do when Sam's out of town, all bets are off.
Yeah.
So the fact that like I think I would do exactly what you're doing. But anyways, so that's what's on heavy rotation in our house. Hopefully that gave you some meal inspo. If you want a quick heat and eat, like not actual cooking, the Kevin's brand chicken, they have like certified. The reason I've been eating them is because a lot of them, well, I think all but maybe one is dairy free. And so like they're all of their labels say like certified paleo or whatever. Whatever. I just eat them because they're dairy free and soy free. Um, so they've been clutch, and it's literally just like chicken and some sauce. They have like a Korean chicken, a teriyaki chicken, a garlic chicken,
Is this a new thing?
a Thai coconut chicken. A new
No,
thing?
the dairy thing.
Oh, but I mean, it's been since Cal was a month old.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I
So
was like,
yeah,
I
like
don't remember having.
7 months or so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't talk about it a lot just because it's not, I don't know, it's just what I do now.
Sure.
But we are probably right around the corner from uh, a dairy challenge for him. So I'm excited for that. If he passes that, I can eat dairy again.
Again.
But yeah, it's been like 7 months. 7 months of no dairy. There was probably a 2 month span where I was no eggs, and there was maybe a month and a half where I was no, maybe 2 months. Was I 2 months no dairy, soy, eggs, or wheat?
Interesting.
That was brutal.
I was gonna say, how was that? I could just tell by your face. You're like, yeah, that was something.
That was certainly something. But we are through that, and now it's just what's so funny was somebody's like, how one of my questions in the question box that I said, somebody was like, you know, doing dairy free for breastfeeding as well. Like, it's such a struggle. How are you doing it? And I would like didn't know how to say. Honestly, it's really easy now that I can eat wheat and egg. So it's like maybe just cut a bunch of shit out and suffer through it for a month and then add everything but the dairy and soy back in, and then it'll feel like a
You
breeze. It'll
feel
feel
like
like
easy,
such a
yeah.
treat that you can eat all of these other things because like but I didn't want to be like, well, I struggled harder than you.
Yeah,
That wasn't
exactly.
like the message I was trying to portray. But anyways, it was but like truthfully right now like it doesn't feel hard because what felt really hard was
Was all that? Yeah.
all of that. Yes.
Although I don't know
um
if I could give up my cheese. That would be very difficult for me.
yeah, that honestly the thing that irks me is like I can't do like charcuterie. Like I just want a
Yeah.
little like cheese cracker
Tracker
meat,
show for sure.
a
Yeah.
little bit of wine.
My favorite. Yep.
I was looking back at old photos. And when I was like 2 weeks postpartum, Sam had made a charcuterie board and we had it like on the coffee table. And we were, sitting there with Cal, our, fresh new little baby eating our charcuterie. And I was like, man, 2 week postpartum Heidi had no idea that that was going to be the last good cheese that she
That she's
had.
had for quite some time.
Anyways, okay, maybe this can be the last one.
Sure.
I'm cutting one out. They're both good questions though, but I think I can kind of touch on one while getting into the other. But this person just wants to get started, trying to get started making some changes. Where should I start? Um, I thought what might be interesting is for each of us to give like our take on if you were starting and you're just wanting to make some positive momentum forward, like what 3 things would you give to somebody to like start?
Uh, is it anything or like specific like to okay. Um, Whenever I try to give someone like starting a new whatever in your life, whether it's physical activity or a change of something, I usually try to tell them pair it with something that is in your routine that you do every day that you can tack on that creates the like that as part of your routine instead of trying something brand new. You know what I
Mm,
mean? If it's
yeah.
like, I need to get some more physical activity, okay, cool. You're going to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner probably every day. Let's go for a 10-minute walk after those. So we
Mm-hmm.
eat, helps your digestion. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
I need to do, I gratitude journaling. Okay, let's pair it with like you have it next to you right when you brush your teeth. And then that's the time when you do it because you brush your teeth every day. Your book is right there every day. Journal for 15 minutes. Like put it in something that is already built into your daily routine. So it tends to become more second nature quicker than having to find a way to finagle it in some point in the day where it's kind of not paired with something we do already.
Yeah. I think that's great. I love
Yeah.
that.
And then what else? So two other things when you're starting. We talked a little bit about this last night. I've always told people, and if let's start like when we get motivated to do these things, we have a tendency to overshoot what we can
Mm.
actually do for long periods of time.
Mhm.
So I try to tell people what is a reasonable thing, whether, fitness, journaling, whatever you want to do, that you can say, I'm projecting myself 5 years from now. I will still be doing it with this frequency and it won't be a big factor on my life. Like it won't be something so, like an
Mhm.
easy shot in the dark is like, I want to exercise. I'm going to exercise 6 days a week. Okay. Like let's extrapolate that out.
Mhm.
Do you think 6 days a week, no breaks for the next 5 years is realistic for you to do with no
Mhm.
problems?
Mhm.
And they're like, that sounds like a lot. Okay, then that's fine. That's not a bad thing. Let's start it like, do you think twice if we book in the week, like something like that? Oh yeah, I could see myself doing that. Okay, let's just start there, build momentum, and then let those things snowball as you find more time or find ways to get it, um, incorporated in your life. But like those are like two of my big right away. If someone's trying to start something, I try to put those two things together fairly quickly, or have them start to think about how that would work within their lifestyle.
I think that's great. I think that's a great place to start. I think I really like to take the approach of like cut one, add two. Like, so when I say that, I mean like when we're looking to make positive momentum forward, we can think about all of these things that we want to add into our day. And I think that's great. But I also think we need to kind of audit what is taking away from our day. And we can look at either removing or cutting down on that as well, because oftentimes doing that is going to give us room in our day, space, time, energy, attention, whatever, to be able to execute on these things that we're adding. Because if we're constantly just wanting to do more, 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 we start like cluttering our time and
Sure,
our
that makes
space, and
sense.
we
Yeah,
like it feels like too much to tackle. And it's, everybody talks about like, oh, I feel like there's not enough hours in the day. I feel like there's not enough hours in the day, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay, absolutely. And I will empathize with anybody feeling like they are drowning in busyness, 100%. But I'm going to venture a guess that there is something in your day that is pulling away, not adding value, and is actively working against you being able to accomplish things that would add value to your day. And so auditing that and seeing how we can affect that. So a great example, Sam was feeling like he was scrolling on Instagram all the time. He just did like a on your screen on your phone, you can set it to where like it's all like one monotone color. So like the colors of the apps and stuff like aren't like don't catch your attention, and there's not like big red badges for notifications and like all this stuff. So his is just like this monochrome like navy blue. Um and then he also installed, I've talked about this on the podcast before, that one sec app that just creates the barrier between opening a specific app, and you can set it up to be whether that's between opening Facebook or opening your work email or whatever. So you can set it up for that, and it just like creates a pause, so you can still open it, but it just creates like a
moment of hesitation.
a
Yeah,
5-second pause, so you can literally be like, wait, what am I doing? I don't need to get into Instagram right now. And how much go to your one sec, and it'll summarize how much time it has saved you. It has saved him 6.2 hours, and you installed it at the New Year's.
oh yeah.
So he's had it for about 3 weeks, and it saved him 6 hours in 3 weeks. It has saved him 124 opens. So like there's been, times where he's opened it and then been like, oh, I don't need to be in Instagram or whatever. So all of that to say, like auditing what is sucking away from your day, and then not just being like, oh, I spend too much time on Instagram, I'm going to cut down on that, right? Like what things can we actively do to set barriers, boundaries, whatever around that. And then once we've done that, then we can look at, okay, what do I want to add? When we talk about what we want to add, if somebody's just like looking to make some positive momentum, I would say movement, some kind of movement, 3 times a week, even if it's like literally stretching on your floor, just like getting into the zone of carving out, even if it's 10 minutes, even if it's super low intensity, literally just getting into the zone of carving out time to move your body each week, and then giving yourself room to grow from there.
Sure.
Going to 20 minutes 3 times a week, going to, more, intense or, whatever, and like letting it grow from there, but just carving out that time and seeing how that impacts your day. I think that's the biggest thing, is like allowing it to create value, right? Like not just blindly, going through the motions of exercising 3 times a week because that's what you said you would do, but also like really taking account of, how do I feel after I do this? How did I feel today? And getting that positive reinforcement kind of connected to the activity. And then the last thing I would say is adding a vegetable to a meal.
Sure.
90% of the time, if we're struggling to, feed ourselves well, we're probably lacking some veggies, or
Sure.
we're lacking some nutrient density. So, you know, one dinner this week, how can we add a vegetable? How can we make our meal more colorful?
Right.
And go from there. So
I did
those would
think
be
of
my 3 things.
one other thing. I only had two, and this has really changed it's something that's come across my plate that's changed my mind. If we're making a change, the easiest one is like fitness.
Yeah.
You need a buddy, a coach, or someone to hold you accountable when you're starting a new behavior. And I don't say that because I want to discount you or your determination, but statistically, if you have someone that holds you accountable, you're more likely to integrate it and be more successful. And that might include investing a little bit of money into yourself to kickstart this process. And don't be afraid to do that, because I think even in the stuff that we've done, I feel like we've had, we do a lot of group stuff, and then they're like, no, I've done with the class, I'm good, I'll do it. And then I just always wonder, that group accountability and that group factor, that need to not like be there for other people, is both something that benefits you, but also you get a lot from it because someone is helping you along the way, and that's never a negative thing. So don't be afraid to use accountability at the beginning a lot.
I love that.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Just
Fantastic. Okay, we'll end it there because we're out of time. I'll save the other question for the next time we do a Q&A. But yeah, hopefully that was fun, helpful. You can always, usually the week before and then the day of a podcast, I drop it on my story for like a little open Q&A for anybody to submit their questions, and then I kind of shuffle through. Sometimes I answer some on my story, and a lot of times I'll save kind of the more in-depth ones for us to go through on the podcast. So hopefully that was fun, helpful, first Q&A of the season. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. We appreciate you guys sending them in and being here with us this week.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys next week.